In front of this wall of books that I still haven't processed, I have my newest arrivals of books. I believe this is number 271. It's not a very tall list of books, but there we go. Motor City Mafia, a century of organized crime in Detroit. Detroit. Be great if my guy was in here, Mickey, but Mickey was a small fish in the big pond of the Detroit River. I should look in here though and see if what's his name, Gorsuch, is in there, since he went on to become a. There's Jimmy Hoffa as a child. Since he became a big time distributor in the area in a company that still exists. But I mean, look at this guy. You'd never know he was a criminal. Just looks like a normal slob. What the hell was in that guy's hair? Was that just a bad photo? Fuck's in his hair, buddy? Teamster Union Power and former Purple Gang Associate Paul Red Dorfman is shown in the DPD mugshot from the early 1930s. The crime scene photograph is of Millman lying dead in a pool of his own blood on the floor after being killed at the hands of hitmen sent by local Italian mafia powers Pete Licavoli, and Joe Scarface Bomarito, carrying out a murder contract that was approved by Purple boss Abe Bernstein. After previous attempts to kill Millman had failed, Licavoli contracted the hit out to the members of the New York underworld. They got his ass. Hey, we're mobsters, buddy. The mob being another reason why we could never have a fucking good country. There it is. Rum running. The bootleggers. That's exactly what I was looking for. The bootleggers of the 20s. Former River Gang lieutenant. See, I mean, this should have contacted me. I would have given him the photo of Mickey lying in his casket. Where is he? I have it out here somewhere. I don't know where it is. Not that he was a big time mafia guy, but he was part of the Rum Runners. I don't know what I did with it. The hell did I do with it? I just had it here. Whatever. Anyway, that's the mafia. The Destruction of the European Jews by Raoul Hilberg, Holmes and Meyer. Almost seems like a college, but still was only 50 cents, so I grabbed it. 1985. Books available at Off Campus College Bookstore, 1020 Henderson Road, Huntsville, Alabama. Alabama. The Destruction of the European Jews. Poland. Central Agencies, the second sweep. Oregon, Myths and Legends. The true stories behind history's mysteries. And since my mother is from Oregon, I bought it. The Lost Bucket, Blue Bucket Mine. I don't really know. Oh wait, D.B. Cooper disappeared in Oregon? I didn't know that. always wanted to go to Oregon. It's one of the states I never went to. But I heard there's also lots of creepers on the coast. The true stories behind history's mysteries. D.B. Cooper, Bigfoot, there he is. The Port Orford meteorite mystery. The lost blue bucket mine. The haunting of Hecata House. The wreck of the beeswax galleon. Pirate treasures buried. Gone missing on Mount Emily. Mass murder in the high Cascades. All right, Barnum. Lasher by Anne Rice. Got this in a buy two, get one free book sale at my local library. $3 or 66 a book it comes out to. Otherwise, it's $1 a book. I think this is a book club edition of Lasher. Stan Rice. See how this one starts. The sow came in with the saddle. The little pig rocked the cradle. The dish jumped over the table to see the pot swallow the ladle. The spit that stood behind the door threw the pudding stick on the floor. Odsplit, said the gridiron. Can't you agree? I'm the bead constable. Bring them to me. Or does it say the head constable? I guess it says head constable because bead constable wouldn't make sense. In the beginning was the voice of Father Amaleth, whispering close to her mother's belly while her mother slept, and then singing to her the long songs of the past, songs of the glen of Donalaith, and of the castle, and of where they would sometimes come together, and how she would be born knowing all that Father knew. It is our way, he said to her in the fast language, which others could not understand. I believe this is one of the vampire novels. From the day her first vampire chronicle was published, critics and readers by the hundreds of thousands, have been mesmerized by the writings of Anne Rice. And with the publication of The Witching Hour, she created for us yet another world and legend. Blah, blah, blah. Mad Anthony Wayne and the New Nation, the story of Washington's frontline general. And this has importance to me for the fact that I live in a town called Wayne, and my local library discarded this book, which is very disappointing. I asked the little nerdy librarian lady. I don't know if you're a librarian if you sit up at the counter, but she just kind of ignored the question of why we discarded a book that our city is named after. I'm not attacking her. She's cute. But I still don't get why we would get rid of a book on, what do you call it? The namesake of the town. He did fight in the Indian Wars. He led the Indian Wars and basically destroyed the Indian frontier in Ohio. Well, the Indians and Canadians. And overtook Ohio and founded Fort Wayne, and then en route back home to Pennsylvania, he stopped in Detroit to check on the forts here because we had obviously had a border with Canada, and the British controlled Canada, so he checked on the forts in Detroit. On this route home, he had a bad case of gout, which apparently killed him, which seems crazy. I think there are conspiracies that he was killed, but the official cause of death is that he died of a severe gout attack, and then he was buried hastily in between his home in Detroit, and they buried him, and then years later his son Isaac dug him up, boiled his bones for some unknown reason, and then maybe I think because there was still flesh. I don't know how many years had transpired. I forgot the story, but his son boiled the bones off of the body and then carted it home and buried it. Weird. Royal Bloodline, Ellery Queen, author and detective. I've seen this book at at my library for probably a year now, and I don't think. Yeah, I did open this, but I just I don't know. I never got it. The Royal Bloodline, Ellery Queen, author and detective. Ellery Queen is a combination of two writers. One day in the fall of 1928, two young New Yorkers, first cousins, decided to write a detective novel. The occasion was a newly announced $7,500 prize contest sponsored jointly by McClure's Magazine and the publishing house of Frederick A. Stokes. The work consumed the young men's nights and weekends for about 3 months. Then they mailed in the manuscript and awaited the verdict. Eventually, they received unofficial word that they had won the prize. They bought each other Dunhill pipes in celebration and made plans to quit their jobs and settle down to the literary life in the south of France. The McClure magazine went bankrupt, and its successor awarded the prize to someone else. In the normal course of events, Frederick Dene and Manfred B. Lee would probably have remained with their jobs in advertising and publicity. They would probably by now have been executives near retirement age, holding down corner suites on Mad Avenue, with perhaps several hundred radio and TV commercials to their credit. Danny, after all, with his poetic ambitions, might have penned some catchy jingles on the merits of this or that deodorant. Fortunately for tens of millions of readers, the normal course of events did not come about. Even though the cousin's novel was no longer the prize winner, Stokes decided to publish it anyway. It was called The Roman Hat Mystery, and both its spine and its sleuth bore the same name, Ellery Queen. What were these two young men like who were about to launch the most successful collaboration in the history of prose fiction? Both were born in 1905, 9 months and 5 blocks apart, of immigrant Jewish stock in a crowded Brooklyn tenement district. So, yeah, some more Ellery Queen since I bought a couple books on Ellery Queen pen name the other day. The Illustrated Encyclopedia of Sex by Willy Vonder and Fisher. Cadillac Publishing, 1950. This has some great illustrations in it. You probably never wanted to see a segmented penis, but there you go. Sperms travel through sperms travel through man's sexual organs. Prostate fluid flowing from urethra. Drawing of male sexual apparatus. Oh, there you go, some scrotum. The testicle and its suspensions. Don't worry, it doesn't focus on male. It eventually gets to female. See, there you go. If you want anatomy of a penis, there you got it. What's this? Picture of nerves network in man's zone of sexual excitation. The same terminal nerves transmit the impressions of the genital organs and those of the anus. This explains why the anus is considered as a secondary erogenous zone. The hell is this? Oh, larger than life picture of a testicle. As I said, you've probably never seen a segmented illustration of a peni, but there you go. And then, thankfully, it leaves and goes into women. The female ones are obviously more picturesque when they get to the illustration. See, they start making them almost like, what's that called? Art Nouveau. Yeah, you got women at the beach and stuff. Got a nude woman reclining underneath. Boob. Some really nice colored ones in here. They're back to the pecker. Bye, penis. We're leaving you. There's the baby inside. See, these are good. These are great illustrations. But the color ones are even better once they come to them. Baby. Menstruation. Where's these color ones coming up? See, this one's fucking brilliant. Senses as cause of sexual excitation. I mean, it's scientific, but it's also art. Look at that. Almost looks like a fucking avocado. Larger than life-size picture of interior of ovary. Kind of looks like a Salvador Dali drawing. There's one of a chicken in there. I couldn't find it the second time I went through it. I don't know who the artist is in this, but pretty good artist. That's not the chicken. There's the chickens. What's this about? Castrated, normal, castrated, and castrated cock after hormone injections. What does that mean? What's he got? Oh, that's after the injection. Oh, I see his little fucking... his little hair thing, whatever you call that thing on top of his head, rebounded. See, if that was an illustration, I'd put it on my wall. This I don't like. Breast of a woman who has had children. Kind of looks like somebody who's had fucking gangrene. Awful picture. Discovery of vitamins. There's these other illustrations. There's some really good ones. That's not it. Natural birth control. There's one of them, I think, coming up. Yeah, this is a great one. Yeah, that's fucking brilliant. Cross-section pictures of mating of male sperm and female ovum. It's one of the greatest illustrations I've ever seen. They don't make it perverse. It's scientific, but artistic as well. The spermatozoa move towards the ovum in order to fertilize it. The pistil of a flower representing the penis. What? Sends off the pollen, masculine cells, which the peristyle of the flower receives. That's one of the best illustrations I've ever seen. Very artistic. That is too, but a little more scientific than artistic. Let's see if there's any more. That one's pretty interesting. Sex hunger of women. Sexual libido in women. What is this? How women's sex organs fight venereal disease. Last one I'm looking at, and I'm moving on to the next books. That's it, same one. Find one last one. Baby inside. The Illustrated Encyclopedia of Sex. Now we come to the... what are these? Number 4, 3, 4, 6, and 2. Thought I had number 1 too. I guess not. So 2, 3, 5, and 6. 2, 3, 4, and 6. New Age Bible interpretation, Old Testament, Volume 3. Mayflower Bookshop, Ferndale, Michigan. I believe it's gone now. In dedication to those who have glimpsed that cross of light whereby the blood essence is transformed into a fragrance of flowers, as of flowers in the Via Dolorosa becomes the highway of the King. The Eternal Madonna. He, Anu, appointed the mansions of the great gods, the constellations of the zodiac. $2 a piece I got these books for. There's the flower. I don't know if that's in all of them. It's probably the Mayflower sign. Let's see if it's in all of them. No, it's not. New Age Press, La Canada, California, yeah. 1974. When I picked these books up and I was going to pay, some lady's like, "Oh, you must be a bookseller." And I'm like, more of a hoarder, ma'am, but I do sell books when I find one that's worth a bunch, and I don't want it. You must be a bookseller. No, I must not be a bookseller. I do sell books, but I only have like 150 listed on the internet, and I have about 8,000 books, I assume. New Bible Interpretation. The New Age Bible Interpretation. Volume 4. New Age Bible Interpretation, Old Testament, Volume 2. What is that, buddy? New Age Bible Interpretation. King Solomon and the Temple Builders. So yeah, that's that. I think that's all I got. All right, bros, that's all. Goodbye.